There we go. There we go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Tiffany. Morning, Rihanna. Good to see you here. Happy Friday.
What a crazy week.
What a crazy week. We're just figuring out some technical glitches with the live, but we've made it. We're a little bit late, but we are here, and that's what's important. So how are you two ladies doing this morning?
Yeah, good. Also a little bit all over the place. It's been one of those mornings where things just don't seem to want to work out, but that's all right.
It's all good. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just some bitches this morning, but we smoothed it out. Yes.
There we go. We are good. Okay, so this morning I'm super excited about our conversation because it is a conversation that a lot of women have issues around. It's a conversation that they tend to shy away from. And it's a conversation that definitely needs to be had. And we've been focusing on this topic inside the CAF-Innate Academy for since the start of August. This is the topic of making friends with money, and Riana is our guest expert who has done an incredible masterclass where she teaches women how to work with money and befriend money, making it no longer the enemy, but instead being an ally in the journey of life and the journey of business and going forward. So we've had an incredible half a month of exploring that relationship that we have with money through Riana's masterclass, using the daily challenge or the daily exercise of documenting our experience with money, both from a practical point of view, but also from an emotional point of view, which has been incredibly insightful and a little bit uncomfortable if it's something that you're not used to doing. And there's been a lot of questions that have come up as well around money. And so this is what we are doing here today. So if you've got any questions around money that you would like to ask Riana about, if you've got a problem in your relationship with money, this is the opportunity to get some guidance, some input, some coaching from Riana, who does this for women all over the world. And pop your questions into the comments. If you're watching the replay of this, please put #replay and pop your comments down, and we will make sure that Riana gets notified about the question so that she can answer it for you. And yeah, let's start the conversation with the questions that we've got lined up for you. Are you ready?
You ready? Yeah.
Good to go.
Let's just jump right in.
Right in.
So we have a question from Carol Ann, and that is, how can we get over the deep-seated feeling that somehow we don't deserve to have money?
Yes, that is quite a question. It's about knowing that you are worth your worthiness and tapping into that, and asking, get your journal out. One of the things that I do for myself is when I'm stuck on something to just get journaling. Why am I worth earning this? Why am I worth loving? Why am I worth whatever comes up? And just let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. When our noisy monkey mind gets in the way, it says, you're not worth it. You don't deserve it. You're not good at this. You look how you've messed up. But that part that we mess up, where we feel we're really not deserving, it's minute compared to the magnificence of us. So it comes down to loving yourself. So here is a tip for you. This is hard to do, but if you can do it, it'll make an amazing difference. So you go to the mirror and you stand in front of that mirror and you look yourself in the eye and you say, Riana, I love you. Abigail, I love you. Addressing yourself. It's hard to do, but it is powerful. It is powerful. So that thing, you value other people. you think, wow, how incredible is Abigail? She can have up to 3 passports if she wants. You know? Which one is she going to choose? And I can only have one. It's like, wow. But there's something wonderful about me as well. You know, what is it? What is that one thing that you can value yourself for and love yourself for? And then start loving that and build your self-worth like that. Don't wait for other people to tell you how worthy you are. You have to believe it from the inside out.
So that's tough, isn't it?
You know what? It's our journey. And when we can do that, it changes everything in our lives, not just the money issue.
I was going to say, I mean, just, there's this whole movement around self-love and the importance of self-love, and kind of the assumption is that self-love is related, my assumption is that it's related to body confidence and, an appearance and surface level self-love. But how you've described it is self-love goes so much further into every aspect. And I mean, it could be the very thing that is limiting you from the incredible abundance that's awaiting for you, that in like, and like the next paycheck kind of thing, the next level income that you want to reach could come down to the basics of self-love.
Yeah. And, we can look at love from a different perspective. We can say, what is there that I can appreciate about myself? So journal that. What do I appreciate about myself? You know what? People tell me I have amazing blue eyes. Yeah, I appreciate that. I can put a program together. I appreciate that. When you start seeing what you can appreciate yourself about yourself, then you can start loving yourself. Because, you can't love something you don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Start appreciating yourself. What did I do today that I'm really proud of? And it's not that ego proud. It's like, I helped that old lady across the road today. She was so appreciative. That was a kind thing to do. I appreciate myself for doing that.
Yeah.
And have those kind of conversations instead of saying, oh, how did you mess up this morning? You couldn't get on IT, and all that sort of stuff.
We have that in our members Telegram group, where every day we say what we won at, what we learned, and what our habits, and also our daily gratitude. And I've been doing that now semi regularly, and it does open your eyes as to what you are achieving. And because otherwise, if you don't take a moment to reflect on that, the day goes by, you don't even notice what you've accomplished, what you've done, what makes you different, and then you can't progress. So I really appreciate that, taking literally 2 minutes to reflect on the day, how I've shown up and what I've achieved.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge
really
difference. Does. And in the beginning, it may be like, how can I believe this? Because it's in my head, my monkey mind says, oh, you're talking a lot of nonsense. Why should you believe this? And it's like, hang on a minute. I'm in charge here, and I am willing to do a little bit of appreciation and appreciate my beautiful blue eyes, and appreciate the fact that I can put a program together, and appreciate the fact that I can't draw, but yes, I can put a lot of fancy colors together and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Brilliant. Yeah. But we've got Alison joining us as well. Hi, Alison. No, you're not late.
Yeah, Alison,
you're late.
Let us know if you've got any questions related to money that you'd like to ask Riana. Put them in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, should we go to the next one, Tiffany?
Yeah. So if money is tight, what should women do first?
Okay, so the first thought that comes to mind is, what does money is tight mean to you? For some people, it's, I've got 1,000 rand, pounds, dollars in the bank, money is tight. For other people is, I've got 100. For others is, I've got even less. So, what should women do first? When it comes to money being tight, there are 4 areas that we probably should be put our focus on. And it's make sure there's money for food, make sure there's money for accommodation, transport, those kind, and utilities. Those are the basics. And sometimes money is even tighter than that, and you have to find other ways to make the money work. And maybe sometimes that is asking for money. Probably the first thing I would do is, where can I shave expenses? How can I cut my expenses? That's where I would go first.
So you would make sure that the bare minimum is covered, and then look at your other expenses and really think, is this necessary right now?
Yes.
And cut those off.
And when I say about food, obviously that means, good but basic food. So it's not going out to restaurants and things like that. Transport is not, I've got this great big BMW that I can drive. It's basic transport. I can get around, I can get on the internet, because that's where, or if that's what you need in order to do your job, etc., etc. But make sure that, you cut out the expenses. Sometimes silly things like, I'm just going to get a muffin. There was a time in my life where I bought a muffin every day at work. I mean, what on earth for? All I did was put on weight.
Yeah.
If you think about, 20 muffins a day, a month at £1 a muffin is £20 I could have saved every month. So there's little, we always have more money than we think. We just don't know where it's hidden.
And what about, if people have credit cards and they are used to just living on the credit, used to using a credit card everywhere, would you cut that up straight away, so to stop yourself from using it? Or how would you approach that? Because that's very difficult. I had a credit card. I never was very much into credit, but I had a credit card, and I didn't like that whole cycle where, I was paying, I think it was 20% interest. It was crazy, but you don't notice because it's small amounts. And then one day I said, we're cutting it up, not interested. We have to make do with what we actually have. And would you advise that? I know it's very, not so much into the money mindset, but it is a very practical thing that a lot of people struggle with. Where do you start?
Yeah. Well, I would start as, what do I really need? Sometimes our the things that we spoil ourselves with, our lifestyle at the time is probably more than we can really afford. So I would really scale down on that as much as possible to make sure that I can come in on the money that I bring in every month. Yeah. And then obviously you then have to start paying off your credit card. But work out a plan so that you can stop spending on the credit card, and then cut it up if that's what you want to do. I worked with a client. She had 3 or 4 credit cards, and I said, well, just leave them at home. You don't have to cut them up. Just put them in a drawer at home. And it was like she was nervous, really nervous about doing it. I said, okay, I relent. You can carry one with you, But make a plan and reduce your reliance on credit cards. When you spend on credit card, you pay that interest, 20%, 29%. You are enriching the banks, the financial institutions. You're not enriching yourself. You are robbing yourself. So the sooner you can get rid of credit cards and debt. I don't know what it's like in South Africa right now, but in the UK, overdraft interest, the interest that you pay on overdraft is horrendous. It's like, it's not quite 50%, but it's almost, it's exceptionally high. It's like 39, 40%. you know, and an overdraft is a place, it would be my first option, used to be my first option where I would go if I needed extra money. The best way to go for extra money is to actually have a savings pot where you can borrow from yourself. But
borrow from yourself. That's nice.
Yeah. But it's a process to get there. But we can do it. We can do it. It's just going to take time. That's all. But you can get there.
And it's also a challenge. I mean, I received a call the other day from my bank saying, "Oh, you're lucky. You can get a loan of X amount." And I'm like, "I'm not interested. I don't want a loan. I can manage absolutely fine on my own." And they don't. Of course, they understand that, but they're trying to make a sale. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah. And that's exactly how they make their money. You know. And we fall for it. We fall for it. Yay! I can get an extra credit card. I can go and do this. Oh, no.
That's terrible.
All right. Yeah, you know, you go to the shop, or somebody tells me a story about he stood on a platform with a friend. He was about 13, 14 years old, and there was an advertisement that said you can get 2 tickets for the price of 1 to go someplace by train. And he said, you know, why would I go to this place? I mean, it was somewhere in the UK, I don't know, can't remember the name of the place, but call it Maidstone. You know, two tickets for the price of 1 to go to Maidstone. He said, why would I want to go to Maidstone? And you know, he's 13, 15 years old. What a fantastic thought to have. I don't want to go there. That doesn't serve me. So why should I go for the 2-for-1 price? But often we fall for it, including the, oh yeah, you can have a loan. You know, you qualify for that.
Colette gets 3 calls a month to give a gift of the credit card or overdraft. I mean, it's terrible what we have to deal with.
Yeah, no, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. No, you're smarter than that. I know.
Well, all right, so let's go to the next one. If money is tight, what should women do first? No, I've done that.
We've already asked that one.
Hang on. This one. What are the worst habits when it comes to money mindset?
To fall for those things. And to think that, the worst is to just spend mindlessly. I'm going to do this because I want to. My friends have invited me to come out, go out for the evening, and I'm going to go, and without any thought about what it's going to cost. It's just it's that instant gratification. So one of the worst habits is first of all not knowing what's coming in and what am I spending and where's my money actually going. So spend mindfully. There's nothing wrong with spending, but do it mindfully. And it's when those things, and then put a sum aside that you can say, oh, that's my blow money. You know, I'm just going to spend that wherever I want. You give yourself permission. But if you just go and spend for the sake of spending because it's so much fun, well, you know, I'm sure you know about people who they get paid, they have money at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month, they spend everything like straight away, and then they can't meet the rest of the month. You know, it's like I have this much money and so much money I can't put my hands in on here. But
it's a short-term mindset. It's literally I have money now, I have to spend it now. There's no long-term goals or vision.
Yeah. So know what it is that you want to achieve financially, because we all have the ability to set goals, to say, you know, and to earn the kind of money, make the kind of money that we aspire to. We have that ability, even though we often think, well, I can't get a job, I can't do this, and we get in that mindset of lack. Once we're in the mindset of lack, everything becomes difficult to achieve, and we can't see the wood for the trees. So, and that's one of the worst habits that we can think as well. You know, and that's a thought habit. It's our thoughts that, and the way we think about money really can pull us down and into the dumps, and then it can be hard to get out of that. And I understand, sometimes things are tough, and we go through those periods where money is not readily available, and we do what we need, and we live moment by moment if we need to, with the long-term vision in mind. But let's plan for long-term as well. We provide for that, and then we live moment by moment, and we know that future is taken care of. Does that answer the question?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So following on to that, why is it important to change our mindset around money and not just our habits? So it's,
okay. So I think the two really go hand in hand, and sometimes it's actually easier to start with a habit and to see that actually when I do this, if I put £1, £1 in the jar every day, by the end of the month, I've got £20, £20 that I can go and save, right? So I can see how it accumulates. So now I can begin to think a little bit differently about money. But it's important to change our mindset around money as well, because it just opens us up. There's this concept about everything is energy. Have you familiar with that? Everything is energy. So if your vibration is low, so when you feel guilty, when you feel shame, your vibration is very low. You feel apathetic. You don't want to do anything. It's like, I can't be asked. I can't be bothered, And so when you attract things that of the similar nature, similar energy, birds of a feather, how does that thing go? But when you feel more, when you feel hope, when you feel more empowered, when you feel, wow, look, I've managed to save £20 this month. I can go and put that in my savings account. You feel better. You feel lighter. The energy is higher. You attract better things. And so the more you get into that mindset of hopefulness, of appreciation, of things are possible for me, the easier it is to stick with the habits, and other good things can happen as well. So it's the one feeds the other. The one feeds the other. But sometimes we want to see it first before we believe it. But the way the world really works is believe it first and then you see it. So it's that emotion, drive. How do I want to feel around money? I want to feel free. I want to feel that I have enough. I want to feel that I'm abundant. I want to feel that I can help others if I want to. And so start with a feeling. And if that's how I want to feel, how am I going to get there? What does it physically look like to get there?
For me, on my money journey, I wanted to feel nothing, neutral about money, that it was purely a transaction, where before there was a lot of negative feelings towards it. And I wanted to get to a place that it was just another thing, just it has to come in and out. And I didn't want to have the anxiety of going and looking into my bank account or anything like that. So for me, it was, I want no feeling. I want it neutral. And it seems to have worked. Now it's more of it's a task. I go and look in my bank account. Okay, these are the actions. And you know what? Actually going into my bank account, I can see when there's an error. For example, I got charged twice last month for something that I'd paid off, and so I could go and take action, go to the bank and say, hey, what's going on? And it wasn't an error on their side. And they do make errors. If we're not looking, if we're not checking, which is they bank on, no pun intended, then, they're making money out of us.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's that awareness. And now you're taking care of your money. You are showing money that I appreciate you. You're showing money. I like to hang out with you. I'm looking after you. So money likes hanging out with you.
You want to hang out with money.
Powerful.
Yeah.
So Carol Ann says, I often blow money on impulse purchases.
Yeah. And the thing there to say is, like, I want a new phone, or I want a new pair of shoes, or whatever. It's like, okay, it's not like you say, no, you can't have that. It's not about that. It's about, do you really need that? Is it important? Right now, I'm thinking, I've just watched a webinar about, managing social media. Having a strategy and all that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, this sounds really good. And it's like, do I really want that? Do I really need it? What is it? How is it going to serve me? So, a couple of years ago, I would have pressed the button and bought it already, but now I'm thinking, really? So just press the pause button instead of pressing the buy button, press the pause button and just hold it for 24 hours, because the things that we want are often the things that get us into financial trouble, whereas the things that we need, we skimp on. Like the food, the transport.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I remember reading, I think it was a quote from Warren Buffett saying that, it may not be him, I can't remember specifically who it was, but saying something along the lines of, you will never regret an investment in your own education. However, I think at the time that whoever said it didn't live in this era of online courses, because how many of us have bought online courses and still never done it, and I know that there is an addiction now for many of us of like, well, I need to learn everything. And so then you're constantly purchasing course after course after course, but never actually then applying what you've learned from that course. And I found myself in that trap of like, yeah, well, this is an investment in my education, I'll never regret it. But then the follow through is, but do you ever finish the course and then apply what you learn? Because buying all the courses and having them for one day when I have time, I'll go and watch them and do it. You're just throwing away money until you've actually implemented it. So I don't know if I'm the only one who has had that realization.
Okay. Guilty.
Okay, good.
Guilty. Definitely guilty. But that was just an example.
Yes.
Anything that you want to buy, just put just wait 24 hours. Because in that moment, it's like, it feels good.
It's so exciting. I'm convinced. I need it.
But no, just put a little bit of distance between yourself and that. Like 24 hours. And is the need still there? Is it really necessary? And just, it's so important. I'm a coach, and I went through the entire coaching course without realizing there's a goal at the end of it. This is why we do coaching, so we can get from where we are to where we want to be. Yes, I knew that, but this thing about goals somehow didn't quite sink in. But it's like, we so often live by what happens to us. The outside world has influence on us, and we think we have no choice. And it's becoming more and more important for us to take our own lives, our own situations in our own hands, and decide and take responsibility and decide, hang on a minute, I don't have to take out all these loans that the bank's offering me. I don't have to go and buy two for the price of one things. I don't have to do all of that. I can make my own choices. I mean, one of the things where I upset somebody at a shop terribly was I went to buy some makeup, and there was an offer on, and she said, how about this lipstick? I'm not one who wears a lot of lipstick anyway. And you can get this for free, and then you can get, and I said, I don't want it. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh my gosh. She was so upset with me. But I made the choice not to fall into that trap, not to let somebody else play my strings, so to speak. So for us to decide, actually, this is my life. This is what I want to achieve in my life. This is what I want to aim for. And if I want to get there, if I know that I want to get there, and it's going to require, I have to save to buy a car, £2,000-3,000 or whatever the amount is, and I go for a night out with my friends just because they say, hey, we can go out now, come along, and it's no, that £50 was going to go to my car fund. Then I'll say, no, not now, because I have more important things to do. I love hanging out with you guys, but right now I don't have the money to do that, or however you want to frame it. But we tend not to do that, and I think we need to become sharper there. I really think we need to sharpen those skills and stand up more for ourselves, because we are awesome women. Why not be awesome?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it ties to the goals we have, and then the discipline to prioritize those goals, for sure.
Yeah, you need to be clear on those goals. That your why.
Yeah.
So that when you get into those situations where you have that choice, it is easier to say no to these, these offers, and online is especially difficult because the marketers are very clever with this thing, and you feel like you're going to miss out with all these countdown clocks and all that kind of stuff. But your advice on pausing, take 24 hours, then go back, do you really need it, instead of doing that impulse buy, that's so important. And companies where you buy online, Amazon, where it's just so easy to just put something in your cart, press the button, literally button, and then you've bought it, and then tomorrow it's there. It's a challenge, where before you go into the shop and you would look, or it would take you a couple of days to go to the shop. Now it's literally open up your app, buy it, done, and that doesn't happen either. So being clear on your goal and where you want to get to, that's, I think, for me, the strongest way to steer away from that temptation. And then going back to what you said about, saying to your friends, listen, I don't have the money right now to go out. I have this where I want to go. There is a lot of shame in that. People don't want to talk about not having enough money, so they don't have those conversations. I mean, I'm quite open about money. I'm very, when I have a conversation, this is what I charge. This is what whereas a lot of people, they like, oh no, we mustn't talk about money. Oh, I'm not going to tell you how much I'm earning. I'm not trying to find out, but I mean, it shouldn't be a taboo subject. It should be a neutral subject. So why do people shy away from those money in conversations?
Because we feel shame, because we feel guilt, because we feel not good enough, and all those reasons. And also, sometimes we all make mistakes with money. Like we were talking about, sometimes just buying courses because it's there. You just want it because I've got to learn everything and all that. And so, myself, I've spent loads of money on courses that I've been ashamed to tell people how much I've actually spent on it. And so it becomes, and the way we've been brought up as well is we don't always discuss money in the family. And if it is, it's money doesn't grow on trees. You can't have all these toys that you want because money doesn't grow on trees. We don't have money for those kind of things. Money is the root of all evil. I mean, there are certain money slogans that seem to crop up in every single family. And I think you're right, Tiffany. Until we are willing to have the money conversation with no emotion attached, money is going to be somehow toxic. So when you say to your friends, I don't want to join you because I don't have the money for that right now, is find another way to say it. You don't have to tell them this is the real reason. You can just say, I'm choosing a different choice. I have other things lined up for that evening or another time. This is because I have this in my plans. Can we plan something for next month? Then I can make sure I have the time and everything I need. There's ways around it. You don't have to say, I'm not going with you because I don't have the money, or I choose not to spend the money right now.
Or you could say, I'm busy saving up for my new car, and make it a positive thing. You know?
Absolutely. And in that way, you're actually teaching them something as well. You're teaching them what's important to you and what they can strive for. I mean, some of my best money lessons I've learned from friends. You know, I'm doing this because I heard it from a friend. Oh, well, thanks for sharing. I'm going to do that too. You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
We have a question. Well, let's say Carol Ann said, I placed an online order for some packs of nuts and seeds the other day, but I was told they don't deliver for orders under 400 Rand. So I was forced to buy more than I wanted to buy. And that's terrible that they're making you.
Yeah, so now you have to decide how important is it to have those nuts and seeds. If you know that you're going to use them, and that in a couple of weeks' time you're going to buy more nuts and seeds, then you know that's fine. I would place the order. I would increase the order if I have the money available. But if it's like, I think you're forcing me into a situation I don't like, it's like, I'm out of here. That's what I would do in that situation. But yeah, I mean, we often get forced down a route we don't want to go down. And then we have choice. Do we go there or don't we? Do we honor what we want, or do we honor what they desire us to do?
Demand, yeah.
Then we have another question from Colette. How do we set our children up for a successful money mindset? Colette, I'm with you on that one. I want to know that.
Yes. So there is actually a book that I can recommend very highly. It's a Dave Ramsey book, Smart Money, Smart Children or something, where he, from the time that you begin to give your children pocket money, that you say, okay, we're going to save some, we're going to give some to charity, and that money that you can spend on your toys or whatever. And you start not necessarily by giving them a count or something, but maybe just physical money and put it in an envelope. And I think it's important also to have good conversations. Now, you need to understand, I didn't teach my children this at all. This is later. Going back, I would, you know, if I could redo it, I would probably do it. I was one of those that told my children I don't have the money, when actually it was a question of, I choose not to spend my money on the things that you want. So telling your children you don't have the money, I don't think is the best thing. So, and you know, watch your own language and tell your children, we're saving money to go on holiday. We're saving money for your shoes. And when your children are older, I was referring to younger children there, but when your children are older, what some parents would do is sort of say, okay, so you need a haircut. You want a haircut, and that's going to cost, say, £10. And I'm sorry, I'm in the UK, so I'm using pound, but the numbers work. The principle's the same, irrespective of the denomination, right? You know, it gets to the point where the child can pay for their own, some of their own way. So they can pay for their own haircut. And they're earning a little bit of money, making their own pocket money, either getting it or washing cars, say, for instance, to earn a bit of money. So now the child learns that if he washes 2 cars for £5 each, that's the cost of a haircut. So it also shows them, the respect for money. You know, it's an exchange. Money is a method of exchange. Because often, I was reading something this morning where somebody said, you know, went through school, got to be an adult in the real world, and suddenly the wheels came off because he had no appreciation for money, what it took to get a job, hold down a job, be in a job. And we as parents have to teach our children something, along those lines, and model for your child a good money mindset,
Yeah, I mean, yes, in terms of getting a job like mowing the lawn or whatever like that. But what I think is also very important is teaching the children to be entrepreneurs,
Yes.
even from when they're very small. So they have to use their initiative, and then they start to learn, okay, if I need to make a certain product, lemonade, for argument's sake, they need to know how much it costs to buy lemons and sugar and all that kind of stuff, and then put a price on it. Okay, when they're very small, it's very difficult. But, I went to visit my mum a couple of months ago, and she lives in I would say a security estate, but it's not really, it's an urbanization. And there were 3 Swedish kids, and from different ages. They were all siblings, and they had made a stand with lemonade and cookies. You don't see that anymore. I was so surprised. I immediately stopped and I said, and I bought whatever they were selling, to support them, even though, maybe I just didn't need the cookies in the time, but,
but you support
it was a good cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, yes, get a job, but also when teaching them how to become an entrepreneur, and instead of giving them the answers on how to do something, is ask questions. What do you think of this way? Or why would you do it this way? So that they engage their mind and see a connection with
that. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. My brother and his wife were entrepreneurial in that way and taught their children a lot that way. They had food stands at when there was food festivals and things. This was in South Africa, and they had like Chinese food stand, and everybody helped. So they learned to plan and have everything prepared, and to work out the cost, and to pack it, and to and to sell it, and all of that. And to this day, his children says, if I have a business problem, the first thing I think about is, what did we do when we had this problem in our food stand?
Wow.
Right.
Go back to that. So maybe what he's dealing with now is more sophisticated, but the roots go deep. And I
the
think
principles are the same. Yeah.
Different. Yeah, absolutely. So I was not brought up entrepreneurial at all, and you can hear it in my talking. I still talk about jobs and things like that, but that's what I think is quite missing in schooling today, in education, that we don't teach children these entrepreneurial skills. And it's like, there must be a job for me, and that's quite new. If you look at civilization, over a long period, there was a time where everybody farmed, or somebody made baskets, and everybody had a way of making income or products to exchange for what they needed. So people were more entrepreneurial in that way. Back then, the mindset was more entrepreneurial then. So that's a very good point. Thanks for mentioning that.
I think when I was, I went through your masterclass, and I tried to do the challenge on a daily basis, and I got to a question which made me think, and that was, what is the difference between having money and wealth, being wealthy? For me, it's a very blurred line. I can't seem to grasp the concept that much. Well,
okay. Well, this is one of the reasons the question is in the workbook, because often what different people have different perceptions, and it's always about your own perception. It's not what wealth means to me may be quite different to what wealth means to you, etc., etc. But yeah, there can be a close correlation. So we talk about rich people and wealthy people, and maybe it's the same thing. Wealth to me is more than just money. you know, I can have not a lot of money and still feel wealthy, still feel abundant. Abundant to me is like the next level up. Um, 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 in that, you know, it just feels more expansive. So for me personally, it's money. Money is like this, a small thing. Wealth is a bigger thing, and abundance is even bigger. But that's my personal experience and the way that I believe. Yeah, my experience around those words, what those words mean to me. And does that help at all?
Yeah, so what we could say is maybe money is the means to building your wealth or growing your wealth, to distinguish that. So money, like before we said, is a transaction. It's just a means. It's a transport system to get us to our goals of being wealthy and abundant.
Yeah.
And the wealth could encompass, maybe you're wealthy in terms of health.
Exactly.
Could that be also included in that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so wealth is more than money, and it could be anything. Money is a very sort of I almost want to say a discrete thing. You know, we associate money when we do exchanges, when we do those transactions. We associate lots of money with people who are wealthy, and that's one interpretation of the word wealth and what wealth can mean to you. But then, you know, health is your greatest wealth. What does that mean to you, for instance? You know, that's another way that you can use the word wealth. So
what comes up for me in the distinguishing semantics is that money is the tangible thing in like 3D reality. Wealth is the mindset around it, and then abundance is a state of being.
That's an excellent way of putting it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, it kind of is the like.
Yeah, but
actually from the inside out, you know, it is the inside out approach to it.
Yeah, but we all, the purpose there is not to put a specific definition on what is money, what is wealth, what is abundance. It's what does it mean to you? When I think about money, you know, do I feel small? Do I feel constricted? How do I feel about money? And when I think about wealth, well, I feel a little bit more expansive. I think about people who maybe have a lot more money than I have. And when I think about abundance, it's like, you know, just look at the rose bush outside my window. It's full of flowers. It's so abundant, you know. And when you look just outside in the world, and you look with what I would call wider eyes, there's so much abundance, you know. And sometimes that abundance is an abundance of lack. You know, an abundance of lack. So they say the universe always provide abundantly. So if you focus on lack, it will give you abundant lack. So be careful what you focus on, because what you focus on,
Sure. Carol Ann, just wanted to follow up on a question with regards to children and teaching them how to manage money and everything. It's difficult though, because now there are all these options for online businesses that our kids could take part in, like online shops. But do we as parents give them money to help them start up?
That's a tough question. That's my limiting belief, maybe coming up there. I would want to know, and this is where it helps if you are a parent who are entrepreneurial thinker, is to say, okay, put some boundaries around it. I want to see how this is going to work. I want to see the plan. I want to see how you. So be like the banker who wants to see a business plan, and then make a decision. You know. how well do you know your child? Is this a child who flies by the seat of their pants? Is this a child who you can see he makes a success, or she makes a success of what they go and what they get into? How passionate are they about this? How much do you believe in your child in this particular thing, this particular project? Do you want to invest in that? Ask those kind of questions. Here in the UK, there is a show called Dragon's Den, where they ask questions. The business people come with their proposition and they want some help, and they have to say, I want to borrow money, this is my plan, etc., etc. And they get grilled by the dragons. We want to see this, we want to see that, before anyone will invest. So make sure that you do your homework for your child. Do the due diligence as though you would be a real investor, because you are an investor in that. And you don't know, it may fly, and encourage them to save as well, so they can also invest in their own business, their own money in their own business. That's how I would go about it. How about you, Bill?
Yes, because it's preparing them for the real world. I mean, if you were to just give them money without any thought behind it, or any, repayment plan or something, they expect that to happen to them in the rest of their lives, that just money just gets handed to them. And then when they actually do need to get a loan, hopefully they don't, but if they do need to get a loan, they don't know how to handle that money, to save that portion to repay. So although it seems like a tough lesson when they are younger, I think depending on their ages, you would adapt it to what they can handle.
Yeah.
We are preparing them for the world. So we should be teaching them on their levels to get there, to survive this crazy world. So I would approach it very similarly to you, Riana, in the sense that, okay, you want to start a business, explain to me, how will it work? What do you need in terms of materials or whatever other things need to go into it? And then have a think, how many would you need to sell to make the money back, and payment back? And so not to expect to be given money, that they need to work towards it, and then they need to pay the money back.
Yeah, and ask them a tough question. So if this doesn't work, how do I get my money back?
That's good. Consequences,
yeah, absolutely. So, and some of us are not entrepreneurial parents. Those questions are going to be tough. It's going to be tough to do that. So call in a friend, somebody who has a business mind, who can look at it from the outside in and ask those questions. And this is, I think the other important thing here is because it's so easy for children to say, oh, you're not believing in me, you won't support me, and all those kind of things. This is not about that. This is about ensuring that you've got all your ducks in a row and that you have your best opportunity for success. Now, not all plans fly. Sometimes we fail several times before we succeed, but we learn every time. So when something happens, what's the lesson you learned? Oh, but it didn't work, they didn't buy my things. No, that's not the lesson.
Yeah.
And then you pick yourself up and you carry on.
Yeah.
You can tell quite a tough one. Tough money.
And tough love. We have to tough love. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, anybody else got any questions? Please drop it in the comments. We are coming up to our hour. So, Abby, do you have any other questions or thoughts that have come to your mind?
Yeah, just in terms of, coming back to the relationship with money. So we've spoken about money. We've spoken in terms of the relationship between mindset and money. And now I'm going to spin it to the genders and money. Do women tend to have a different relationship to money than men, do you think? And why is that, if there is?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. You know, I started, let me rephrase that. Whenever I start out saying, I'm doing this for women, the first people that show up are men with exactly the same issues that the women that I've seen, why I came up with a solution in the first place, you know, to address those issues. So yes, men do have similar. There are issues of worthiness at times. Some, I would say that the men who are more in touch with their feminine side probably have more of the similar issues. Men who are more in touch with the masculine side, um, um, you know, to them, money is just a tool most of the time. And yes, I have to earn it, and I will do what I have to get to do to earn it, and I manage my money, and you get out of that or stay out of that. That's very much a generalization, because on the whole, I haven't given it much thought, but yeah, I think that's how I see it. I think men who are more in touch with their feminine side have similar issues to women, and those who don't have more of a neutral, I'm in charge kind of situation. But it's the same for women. It's not all women have issues with money. Those who are more in touch with their masculine side, it's easier for them to be I almost said rougher with money. You know,
less emotional.
Yeah.
I guess it's connected to a sense of their ego. In terms of the masculine side, is quite strong. The ego is very strong, and the whole traditional view that the male was the provider. They would go out and make the money, and had the control of the money, and the women were left to just, you know, stand in the kitchen and, you know, look after the children, and so our parents would have grown up in that kind of environment, again, generalizing. And so they were never really part of the whole conversations about money, about actually even earning the money. So they had no idea how to the savings, how much it takes to run a household or anything like that. The man traditionally had that role. And I think that's maybe where it could stem from as well. But now there's a huge change in that aspect, because households are the other way around sometimes, or both are earning the money, or the woman's earning the money and the man's staying home. I mean, it's quite an amazing transformation that we are seeing as well. And so I think it's all a learning process. And I think the root is how you value yourself as well. And women generally undervalue themselves, and we are super powerful. We can do so much.
We are. And just because money, previously men had control of the money, it doesn't mean that they did a good job of it. Okay, that doesn't mean that at all. They can make as big a mess, if not worse, than we can. Because I don't know, we're getting into female here. But when there's a car accident, women may have more accidents, but it's less impactful accidents. It's smaller accidents when men, because they tend to drive faster. When men have accidents, it's much greater impact. So and the same with when it comes to investing. Let me tell you, ladies, when women will follow the rules and the guidelines and invest, men think, oh no, I can do much better than that, and then go outside the strategy and screw up, really mess up. When you get to the point where you have money to invest, you are phenomenal, just phenomenal. Women make better investors than men do because of that. So yeah, I mean, we have the power. We just have to believe in ourselves and get down and do the job and not be afraid. We do not need to be afraid of money. I mean, it's pieces of, these days there's plastic in paper money. You know, it's coins if you handle it physically. We don't even use it these days, you know. It's electronic transfers and things like that. We hardly see money. I don't know when last you guys have touched money. I can't remember when last touched money. Yeah. So it's this invisible thing that we're so afraid of. But the other invisible things that, our own worth, that we also can't see with our own eyes, and we haven't yet opened our minds wide enough to appreciate, we don't give that a thought. We just sweep it under the carpet. Well, it's time to come out from under the carpet and show up and take control of our money and our lives.
Fabulous. Well, I mean, your masterclass, Making Friends with Money, is fantastic. A really good starting point with the whole mindset, and to then implement the challenge as well. It's important to take charge of your spending habits and to really look at what's necessary, what's not necessary, and think about what your goal is, where you want to get to, and plan step by step how you're going to get that, break that goal into actionable step-by-step bite-sized things. So definitely, I mean, we're still talking about money this whole month. This is month of August. It's about money mindset as well. And so if you haven't watched the masterclass, please go into the members area and watch it. And it's not too late. It's like you said in our first call, it's not too late, no matter what age you're at, whatever stage you're at, to just take that step and start taking control of your money. So yeah, I mean, this live Q&A, well, the replay will be available to the members the whole time, but for the non-members, this will only be available for 24 hours and then it's get taken down. So if you would like to join the CAF-Innate Academy and watch Riana's masterclass, watch the Q&A replay, as well as all the other masterclasses and all the other content that we have inside the Academy, go to CAF-Innate.com/1-week, and you can have a look for a week for free, have a look what's going on, join us in the Telegram groups, get a real feel for who we are and how we can all support each other to keep growing and get stronger. So yeah, and most of you have been watching this on YouTube because that is our channel, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get notified the next time a new video goes up, a new live stream goes up. So I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And I also have, if you want to find out more about Riana and connect with her, you can go to her Facebook page, Pragmatic Solutions for You. And if you have any more questions about money, you can reach out to her and go to her website as well. So have I left anything off there?
I think that you just about covered it all.
Fantastic. It's been wonderful. It is such an important topic to be talking about. And thank you so much, Riana, for helping us make that step and becoming more friendly with money.
Excellent. I'm glad it's helpful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been great, and see you again soon. Otherwise, inside the Academy, we'll connect with you there. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.